recognition of the mystery and wonder of life which we cannot control, we come together in our commitment to freedom, truth, justice, and compassion. This chalice is a vessel that symbolically holds our dreams. In the words written after 9/11 by Lisa Dohe, and I hope I said that somewhere near correctly. Why a flaming chalice? The question comes. It's the cup of life, we answer. A cup of blessings overflowing, a cup of water to quench our spirit's thirst, a cup of wine for celebration and dedication, the flame of truth, the fire of purification, oil for anointing, healing, out of chaos, fear, and horror. Thus was the symbol created a generation ago. So may it be for us in these days of uncertainty and sorrow, perhaps rage, and the light to warm our souls and guide us home. I'm hoping that many of you know the words, the Spirit of Life, and that you can sing it in your heart or with one another if you're with your family. Good morning. Good morning. I asked the children and youth, and some of the adults pitched in too, to help me this morning illustrate our story. Our story is the story of the gecko. It's adapted from The Grumpy Gecko by Dawn Casey and Ann Wilson, and illustrated this morning by the children, youth, and adults of All Souls. In a shady glade, the chief of the jungle slept until gecko, gecko, gecko. Tiger woke up with a snort. He opened one yellow eye. Gecko, he growled. What do you want? It's the middle of the night. I've come to complain. What could Gecko the lizard possibly have to complain about? He spent most of his time lazing around, just sleeping and eating. And even when he was hungry, all he had to do was flick out his sticky tongue and lick up a mosquito. What's troubling you? Tiger asked. It's the fireflies, said Gecko. All night long they fly around, flashing their lights in my eyes, keeping me awake, flashing and flickering. I haven't slept for days. It's making me very grumpy. You're the chief of the jungle. Make them stop.
Tiger stifled a gigantic yawn. "I'll talk to the fireflies," he promised Gecko. Tiger sighed and set off to find the fireflies. Wading through wet paddy fields, the night vibrated with the chirps and croaks of frogs and the trills of 1,000,000 insects. More frogs and 1,000,000 insects. Above the paddies, the fireflies flickered and flashed. "Fireflies," Tiger calls. "Gecko says you've been disturbing his sleep, flashing and flickering all night long. Is this true?" "Well, we do flash our lights all night," replied the fireflies, "but we don't want to disturb anyone. We're just passing on Woodpecker's message. We heard him drumming out a warning." "I see," said Tiger, "then I'll talk to Woodpecker." At the edge of the paddies, Tiger found Woodpecker drumming against a coconut palm. Rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat. "Woodpecker," Tiger winced. "The fireflies say you've been rapping and tapping and tapping and rapping and drumming out a warning. Is this true?" "Of course," said Woodpecker, puffing up his feathers. "I provide a great service. Clearly, my efforts are not appreciated." He looked down his long beak at Tiger. "Beetle rolls manure right along the path. I warn the jungle animals so that no one steps in it. Without my drumming, who knows what a mess you'd all be in." "Oh," said Tiger. "Well, that's very helpful. Thank you." Tiger licked his nose thoughtfully. "I'll go and speak to Beetle." It was easy to spot Beetle on the jungle path. In the moonlight, his back gleamed like polished metal. "What's all this?" Tiger asked. "Woodpecker says you're rolling filthy mess all over the place." "Yes, yes, can't stop," Beetle replied, rolling a ball of dung right up to Tiger's paw. "Water buffalo drops piles of it all over the path. If I don't move it away, there'll be muck everywhere. Excuse me." Tiger lifted his paw and Beetle bustled past. "Okay," said Tiger, suppressing a sigh. "Thank you, Beetle. I'll go and see Buffalo." Tiger found Buffalo in a pool of mud. "Buffalo," Tiger roared. "Beetle says you've been leaving your manure all over the place. Is this true?" "Oh, yes, sir," said Buffalo, lowering his head. "I leave manure all over the path, sir. But you see, sir, it's helpful, sir. Rain washes holes in the path every afternoon. I leave manure only to fill up the holes so that no one trips or falls. If I didn't, sir, someone could get hurt." "I see," said Tiger. "Well, that's very thoughtful of you, Buffalo." Tiger's tail twitched. He was beginning to lose patience. He sighed. "I'll go ahead and hear what Rain has to say." Tiger set off from Mount Agung, the highest peak on the island and the home of Rain. Tiger climbed and he climbed and he climbed and then he climbed some more. At last his claws clattered onto the smooth grass of the mountain peak. He stopped to catch his breath. He looked down the mountain. The sun was rising. Tiger stared. Jungle spread out for miles around, flamboyant with flowers and more flowers. Wild orchids and climbing lilies and trumpets of violet blue and starbursts of brilliant flame red. He swiveled his ears. He heard newborn streams trickling and tinkling. And below the jungle, on the green gull steps of the paddy fields, he could just make out the flash of the fireflies. "No need to ask why rain rains," Tiger smiled. And then he began the long journey down the mountain and through the forest and jungles and paddies to find Gecko. It was dusk by the time Tiger found the lizard again. Well, Gecko demanded, did you talk to the fireflies? They're still flashing and flickering, on and on. Did you tell them to stop? The fireflies flashed to pass on Woodpecker's warning. Whoop. Sorry. Yeah. Technical difficulties, y'all. Gecko, said Tiger. He spoke very slowly. Listen carefully. The fireflies flashed to pass on Woodpecker's warning. Woodpecker warns everyone not to step in Beetle's dung. Beetle clears up the dung left by Buffalo. Buffalo leaves manure on the path to fill up the holes made by the rain. Rain makes holes in the path as she creates streams and lakes and puddles where mosquitoes live. Oh, said Gecko. Gecko, what do you eat? Mosquitoes, said Gecko. So, said Tiger. So, repeated Gecko. Rain could stop raining. Yes. Buffalo could stop filling holes. Uh-huh. And Beetle could stop rolling dung. Yes. And Woodpecker could stop drumming. Mm-hmm. And the fireflies could stop flashing. Yes, Gecko. But I would have nothing to eat. Exactly, said Tiger. Gecko, everything in this world is connected. Go and live in peace with the fireflies. So Gecko stuck himself upside down underneath the branch of a tree. He closed his eyes and he went to sleep. And the fireflies flickered and flashed, and Tiger snored. I would like to thank my illustrators, Ella, Ava, Jackson, Jude, Jennifer, Melissa Gibson, by the way, hi, and Everly Gibson, and thanks to all of you, and Ash McLean.
Good morning. I'm Bennett Upton. I'm the board president here at All Souls, and just had a few things to say. And I guess as I was trying to figure out exactly what I was going to say, I was, for one, totally confused by exactly how Susan was keeping all of those pictures in order, and yet still obviously keeping the story in sequence. That's a magic trick I will never figure out. But that got me also thinking. I was thinking this is like a hive of activity around here, but it's not really a hive because we're kind of distributed and we're all in different places and we're all doing different things, whereas bees tend to do the same kinds of things. And so, but it's really more like an ecosystem. So we're kind of a little ecosystem around here. We've been very busy lately doing a digital transformation, as we go through all of the changes, switching all of our services online, all of our group meetings online, and trying to keep everyone safe. I feel like it's just important that we replace our old habits with new habits, and we develop new healthy things that we can do that are going to help our congregation. So in that spirit, there on the Facebook page that hopefully you're on right now watching, there should be a donation link and also a link to some questionnaires that we've developed, and that's really helping us to gather information so that we can better serve you, so that we can better connect with the congregation as we undergo all of these changes that we're seeing, and to keep connected with you. I'll probably also be sending out a Slack invite into your email, and so that we can. That's going to help us to form some of the small groups that we want to create, and so that we can also communicate a little bit more securely. There have been a number of email scams and phishing links that have been going around. I will never send you an email that asks you to buy gift cards. I will never send you an email that asks you to send money to anyone else. There will be a donations link on the Facebook page, and otherwise, mail us a check. It gets to here. So that's the limit of it, and please don't fall victim to any scams. But please do join us through all of our numerous different ways that we're trying to connect with the congregation and the community at large, through Zoom and Slack and Facebook Online. So thank you for your involvement.
There are a grand total of 6 of us here today, and we are scattered all over this sanctuary. We're trying to stage things so we can keep our distance and abide by the suggestions that have been given us all to be responsible for the world that we care so much about. I particularly want to thank the people that are here doing this service with us. Bob Jordan and Kathy Osuch had already agreed to be part of this service before we moved into things being so challenging. And then when we were evaluating things again, we decided that a small crew would still be good here for this week. But after this week, we will be doing things an entirely different way and broadcasting from all of our different homes rather than, or different sites, rather than being together at all. So we will be as much dependent on the technology to communicate with people from the church as you will be. I'm very pleased to announce that very soon Larry Andros will be joining us as part of our evolving online worship experience, and he will be leading the meditation each week. So I know that will mean a lot to a lot of people. Larry is very calming presence and on a very deeply spiritual path. But for now, I wanted to tell you who's here. Our camera person is James Peck. Our sound person is Claudia Harris. Our storyteller and director of Lifespan Religious Education is Susan Caldwell. And our speakers for today, Bob Jordan and Kathy Osuch. And that's who's here. Our board president, Bennett Upton, you just saw. He is doing marvelous work to pull together a lot of online options for us. And I really thank everybody. But for now, I want to invite you to let yourself quiet for just a couple of minutes. Get comfortable somewhere, and if you can, put your feet flat on the floor. Close your eyes if you will, or if you care to, and take a few nice deep breaths You can breathe in on the count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 6. And then breathe out slowly for a count of 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Repeat that a couple of times. 4, 6, and 7. Now, check in with your body. Feel the soles of your feet and start upwards, letting the muscles relax and release as you go. Imagine sending breath and healing to each part. Relax the toes and lower legs, your knees and hips, abdomen or belly, and let any tightness in your chest and back and shoulders go. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Relax your face muscles and your head. Imagine the top of your head opening and a gleaming, soothing light, white, shining as the very source of life, pours into you through the opening, spilling all the way through you until it pours out the bottom of your feet, carrying with it all the bad germs and cooties. Now imagine roots growing from the bottom of your feet into the ground, going deeper and deeper. Feel yourself becoming part of the earth, and feel the earth then from the ground under your feet. Feel yourself drawing up a warm energy that glows. Feel how the earth becomes part of you. Let it rise up through your whole body, your arms, bringing nourishment and a real sense of strength with it as it comes. Just filling you up until it reaches the top of your head and spills out a warm, powerful liquid of light to surround you with the strength and love of the earth and everything on it and the spirit of life. light that's holding you, spreading out farther and farther to touch everything around you, and farther to reach everything in the city, everything in our country, and everything and everybody in the world with warm, glowing hope, love, and strength, good health, and a sense of joy to hold deep in our hearts no matter what's going on. We light a candle for every single concern, for the people we know, love, and care about, and for their well-being. And we light a candle for every concern of people we don't know, of everything that's going on in the world that needs care and love to grow and be healthier. I'd like to introduce our speakers for this morning. First, we'll have Bob Jordan. They are coming to speak about the way that nature and the interdependent web and the environment play into their personal spiritual journey.
Thank you, Barbara. Good morning. My name is Bob Jordan, and I'm a member of All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church in Shreveport, Louisiana. My journey over my lifetime has taken me down a long and dusty road, with many wrong turns and bypasses along the way. In graduate school at the University of Tennessee, I studied behavioral psychology. My doctoral dissertation was titled An Observational Study of the Behavior of Black Bears, Ursus americanus. To collect my data, I spent a lot of time observing the behavior of captive and wild bears in the Great Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee. In 1979, with degree in hand, I set out looking for a job, but quickly discovered that jobs for bear psychologists were virtually non-existent, so I decided to change career paths. I packed up and moved to State College, PA, where I retrained for a year in Penn State's clinical psychology program. I shifted my attention from being an objective observer of another species to experiencing in a very personal way the thoughts and feelings of my own species. The change in orientation was a shock to my poor brain. Gradually, I came to view our species, Homo sapiens, as the rationalizing species rather than the rational or wise species. Our species seems to be unjustifiably proud of how wise we are, so we named ourselves the wise species. We congratulate ourselves on our ability to think abstractly and symbolically. We search for explanations for what we observe in the natural environment. If we don't know the objective explanation for a phenomenon, then we create a mythical story. Our boundless imaginations permit us to come up with some pretty fanciful and varied explanations for natural events. For example, the ancient Greeks believed that the thunder and lightning that occurs during a rainstorm was caused by the gods fighting ferociously with each other. Today, science offers the more mundane explanation that thunder and lightning are caused by electrical discharges in storm clouds. Whether by fanciful mythical explanations or modern scientific ones, It is comforting to believe that we understand the causes of events. Once we believe we understand the cause, then we can take steps to attempt to control or modify the cause. For example, in a variety of religious traditions, people pray to God or the gods for protection or assistance. We invent rituals that seem to bring good results or terminate fearsome events. Perhaps our beliefs reflect actual natural phenomena, or alternately, events may be governed by supernatural powers that intervene in the natural universe when we plead for them to intervene. I don't rule out supernatural intervention, but I doubt that it occurs. If the supernatural was continually intervening in nature, then I expect that nature would become totally chaotic and unpredictable. While the scientific method attempts to predict and control particular variables, it cautions us to never conclude that we have arrived at conclusive explanations. We keep observing and searching for ever more comprehensive explanations. For example, Darwin's theory of biological evolution by means of natural selection explains a myriad of observed natural phenomena. But the scientific method advises us to be humble about our understanding of nature. Perhaps one day, an even more comprehensive theory will subsume Darwin's theory. Years ago, our denomination began a movement to form small groups sponsored by the church that focused on some area of interest that was shared by members of the group. In the 1990s, I helped form one such group here at All Souls where we discussed books on Eastern religions. We read and discussed books on Zoroastrianism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, Judaism, Sufi Islam, Taoism, Sikhism, Shintoism, and Christianity. I was particularly drawn to the wisdom expressed in Tibetan Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism, Taoism, and Zen Buddhism. Let me focus on just one of those religions, Taoism, because I believe it has particular relevance to science. The Tao Te Ching, this little book, contains very terse aphorisms in 81 chapters. It contains a total of 5,000 words that were written by one man, supposedly, named Lao Tzu in 450 BC. But who actually wrote it is cloaked in mystery. What is the Tao? It is the indefinable way or source of everything. It cannot be named, only pointed to. And I'm going to read a quote from our hymnal. It's a reading on number 606, and it goes like this. This was written by Lao Tzu. Before creation, a presence existed, self-contained, complete, formless, voiceless, mateless, changeless, which yet pervaded itself with unending motherhood. Though there can be no name for it, I have called it the way of life. Perhaps I should have called it the fullness of life, since fullness implies widening into space, implies still further widening, implies widening until the circle is whole. What is manifested from the Tao are all the things that have names. The Tao says that there are 10,000 things that have names. But that might be a cultural limitation of their time that it was written. The Oxford English Dictionary lists 175,000 defined words. Non-English speaking cultures give names to things that have no equivalent in English. Scientists love to create words that somehow capture the substance of something. The Tao would say that thinking you can grasp something that has no boundaries or form is a delusion. I think of the way, or the source, as being a concept similar to the Big Bang's primordial substance that preceded the formation of subatomic particles and elements. Then the 10,000 or 175,000 things with names came into existence. Being able to name something doesn't mean that you have somehow grasped its substance. The reality of the nature of things is that they have no boundaries. Subatomic physics recognizes this reality. What are atoms? What are electrons, particles, or clouds? Let me also point out the usefulness of the mandala that is the symbol of the Tao. It is very similar to the concept of homeostasis in physics and biology. One thing shades into another, and that shades back into the original thing, and an endless circle. The universe is full of wonders about which we have only very limited understanding. Lao Tzu advises us to go about our daily tasks with an attitude of humility. If you have an hour or two to read and reflect on the wisdom in this little book, please do it. Finally, I will quote from a French Catholic theologian, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. And let me find it here. After close on 2 centuries of passionate struggles, neither science nor faith has succeeded in discrediting its adversary. On the contrary, it becomes obvious that neither can develop normally without the other. And the reason is simple. The same life animates both. Neither in its impetus nor its achievements can science go to its limits without becoming tinged with mysticism and charged with faith. And here is a quote from Albert Einstein. My religion consists of a humble admiration of the illimitable superior spirit who reveals himself in the slight details we are able to perceive with our frail and feeble minds. That deeply emotional conviction of the presence of a superior reasoning power, which is revealed in the incomprehensible universe, forms my idea of God. And this is a photograph taken from the Hubble Space Telescope. Finally, I want to say what Lao Tzu said himself. He who talks doesn't know. He who knows doesn't talk. So please disregard everything I have already said. Thank you.
Can you hear me now on this noisy little planet? Are you listening or taking it for granted? Hang on, bees, rocks and trees, we're not all bad. There's an endless sea that moves between the moments, songs in every key that float beneath the old ones. From every heart the notes have come, keeps the struggle lonely. I'd like to think we'll go beyond the mess we've had. Noisy little place across the human race, quiet calls Take hold of my hand, reaching out, make peace on the land that holds us all. Mother's waiting. Can you hear me now? There are words that must be spoken. Will you come inside? Her arms are always open. Hush the noise. The planet's voice is whispering. Can you hear me now?
Good morning. I'm Kathy Osuch. The interdependent web of all existence, of which I am a part, is the UU principle that really speaks to me most. I was also part of that same book group that Bob Jordan was talking about earlier. And one of the books we read was by Alan Watts, that really helped shape my spiritual path even more. He describes humanity as leaves of a tree. We're all separate, we're all individual, but we die if we're separated from our tree. There's nowhere you can go and not need what this planet provides: air, water, food. There is no planet B. We are part of this earth, so much so that we ingest minerals, pieces, literally pieces of this earth, each time we breathe, drink, eat. And it should be clear now, too, that we're not just ants on a beach ball. Example not to scale. That what humans do affects the planet, and what we do to the planet affects us. We're now seeing clear water, fish, dolphins in the canals of Venice, Italy, due to the virus shutdown, because less pollution and traffic. China now has much less pollution since the coal-fired factories shut down. The coronavirus pandemic also tells us that we are all in this together and interdependent. My life depends, in part, on what others do or don't do. The coronavirus is kind of like humanity said to the planet, we can't change our way of life, even if it means the health of the planet. And the planet says, oh yeah? So, and we have a song we often sing in this church, Swimming to the Other Side, that also expressed some of my feelings on this. We can worship the ground we walk on, cherish the beings we walk beside. This means to me that it's not just the other people on this planet that we need to be concerned for. If we're truly cherishing the beings that we walk beside, then we need to be mindful of their lives too, as well as the story talked about how interdependent we all are. You know, if you spray the pesticides in your yard to get rid of the bad bugs, you're also killing the bees which feed us. As we say, service is our prayer. So what can you do? Not everyone is a Greta Thunberg, a Rachel Carson, a John Muir, and can do big things to help the planet. Maybe you can do something big too, but everyone can take care of their piece of the planet, at home, at their place of worship, and in our community. You can plant native plants in your yard. You don't necessarily have to dig up everything that's there, but when you're putting something in, want to add to it, think about native plants. They won't need all the chemicals to do as well, as they're adapted to our conditions. And they provide food and shelter for the native birds, bees. They provide a habitat. You know, your Chinese azaleas aren't going to feed our native cardinals, whereas the native plants will. You can eliminate or reduce your lawn. Replace it with beds of native plants with strips of grass in between, or a vegetable garden, an English cottage garden, or just ground cover. This is really much less work for you, as it doesn't need to be mowed weekly, won't need the poisons and chemicals to maintain. Lawns emerged from wealthy show-offs saying they had land to waste, and settlers showing that they had tamed the wilderness. There's plenty of examples around town to show you other yards without lawns. You plant trees whenever possible, natives of course. Trees make oxygen and soak up CO2. We're literally poisoning the earth with our pollution, with the chemicals we're using, we think, to help. But we know now that dogs who live in homes where the yards are chemically treated have much higher incidence of cancer and other problems. How about you? Don't spray inside your house for bugs or have someone else do it. Don't spray poison where you live. Get an electronic eliminator, just one in our kitchen, or put out baits for bugs you see. You know, fire your bug man. Okay? Spraying pesticides in your yard kills all bugs, including bees who help feed us, butterflies, and other beneficial. Go organic if you need to, or live with a bug or two. Birds and other wildlife will visit as you have food. And never use Roundup, a carcinogen, an effective herbicide and killer, which is bad for the environment and you. Go organic, or find ways to cover up the weeds with paper, with mulch. You know, you don't have to kill it. Okay. There are many other ways we can help our planet. Reduce your footprint and cherish the ground we walk on and the beings we live beside. No one can do everything, but please do what you can. Humanity and our planet depends on it. Thank you.
Thank you both, Bob and Kathy. Thank you, Susan, also for the story earlier. That was wonderful. I think a lot of us are familiar with the mistaken information that the Chinese characters for chaos represent opportunity and danger, danger plus opportunity. Now, that's been so widely spread through businesses and politics and popular culture that even some of the native Chinese-speaking people have begun to adopt that idea. The original meaning was danger at a point of juncture, when things were coming together. And I think both of those ideas might be really helpful as frames in this time. We're at a threshold on a whole lot of levels. It's time to reset our lives. We are being handed an unprecedented opportunity to look at the ways that perhaps we sleepwalk through the world, the things that we take for granted. And while all of that can be quite anxiety-creating and make us afraid, what it gives us also is a chance to be really creative about how we do things a new way. It gives us an opportunity to become mindful again of what we care most about. We need to do what we can to be in touch with the people we care about and take care of ourselves because we are the planet. Be more cautious than less. But also try to be mindful of people who might be more isolated and more vulnerable. Maybe those who are less electronically and technically connected. Now, Miss Susan is going to be sharing with us ways that we can learn how to do some of the technologies that are a part of the systems. We'll be broadcasting and having what we call meetings online. With Zoom is an app you can get and get ready for it. But we'll be having small groups, and we'll be trying to find out what kinds of gatherings you would like us to create. And that's part of what's on Bennett's form. So if you will please fill those out and send them back. They're on the All Souls page or the Facebook page?
They should be they're on the Facebook page.
Okay, so they're on the Facebook page, and if we get your email address, we can send you again those forms in case you have not filled them out already. Some people may have a tendency to get bored, and that's a real call to be creative too. You can do old things in new ways. We may, excuse me, we may, I don't know what that is. Excuse me. May want to teach our children to write letters. We may want to plant something and watch it grow. If you eat tomatoes, you can take tomato seeds and dry them out and let them sprout. I don't know. Whatever our creative and calming solutions are, let them be healthy new ways. Don't use this as an excuse to become a couch potato or just plug into the internet. We need to re-engage with life while we are learning to engage with each other in new ways. We will be back together again. This pandemic could wind up being a catalyst for a much needed change on our planet. But we have to learn to do things a new way. I love you all. I look forward to seeing your faces. Please let us know however we can help. We have the health of the communities and the planet in our hands. Please keep physical distance from everyone around you except maybe those in your home. Stay home as much as you can possibly, and yes, yes, wash whoever you are. There are so many things we cannot predict here. Please know that we can do a lot about this. Go in good health, go in peace, and go in ever-expanding passion. So be it.